I'm optimistic enough to believe in human ingenuity and to believe in human adaptability. I think that our world is going through tremendous changes that have to do with the information revolution, with technology, with social media, with interdependence. And I think that we truly have become a global village. What happens in one part of the world can have an immediate impact halfway around the world, and we have to find a way to deal with it and to adjust to it. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I think the world will come out of it once we go through this adjustment process in a much better position than we were prior to entering it. Every time you go through periods of change, inevitably you have some instability, and I think that's what we're seeing, but we're not seeing the end of the world. Iran must be held accountable for its nefarious actions outside of this agreement if we want this agreement to have any importance. I believe that the not certifying has to do with Iran's overall behavior, including the shortcomings of this deal. And I believe that that's the objective.
The dispute, the boycott now of Qatar in response to its unwillingness to meet the demands that yourselves, Bahrain, Egypt, have made. This is, how do you see this playing out?
It all lies with Qatar. We are saying no to supporting terrorism, no to funding terrorism, no to harboring fugitives and wanted terrorists, no to incitement and hate speech, no to the interference in the affairs of other countries. We find it unacceptable that media platforms would be used to justify suicide bombings by senior religious figures. That doesn't help when we're trying to combat extremism and terrorism. We find it unacceptable that terror financiers who are on United Nations lists and US lists, forget our list, are operating freely in Qatar. That's not acceptable. The US role in terms of security in the Middle East is indispensable.
Indispensable.
Indispensable. If America is engaged in the region is more secure. If America is disengaged in the region becomes unstable, vacuums are created, evil forces flow into those vacuums, and it costs us many, many times to reverse it than it would have been to stay put. I think where we started about the changes in the global system, I think we have a situation where the US is the largest country in the world in terms of its footprint. The US is also the world's #1 superpower. The US understands that it has a role to play and must play in the international system. But the world has to understand that America cannot carry the burden of maintaining order in the international system. And so there has to be burden sharing. We know that in the Gulf, in Saudi Arabia, in the Emirates, we are partners, we pay our own way, and we know that we have a responsibility to do this. I don't believe the US is retreating. I don't believe the US has an interest in retreating. I think that the US, quite the contrary, President Trump believes in America playing its role in the world. But he also believes that allies have to carry their fair share in helping with this world. And I think it makes for a better and stronger partnership.